What happened in middle school that still makes you cringe today? Backstory: I was a band geek. I played all sorts of instruments, but at the time of this story I played the bass clarinet. I was also dating another band member at the time. Our school had 6 hours, or periods, depending on what you called it, and band was only available as either 3rd or 6th hour for all 3 grades. Our middle school went 7-9 grades. This means both hours would be a mix. Actual story: I played on the high school basketball team my 9th grade year, so a lot of the time I had to leave early for high school games. As I was leaving, my teacher was still on his podium talking to the flute section. I realized I had forgotten my bass clarinet, so I ran back to the lockers to grab it. My middle school brain decided it would also be okay to run up and give a hug to my boyfriend in front of everyone else. So, with a giant instrument case in one hand, flip-flops on my feet, a backpack on one shoulder, and a crap ton of momentum, I go sliding full force into him. I took out not only him but 4 other people sitting by him. It was essentially band member bowling. Ugh, I'm cringing as I type. We were going on some field trip, and the class was gathered to discuss rules, what we could and couldn't bring, etc etc. Gamma boys were all the rage at that time, so our teacher announced that we wouldn't be allowed to bring them. Now, I had no clue what a Game Boy was, but I wanted to be a smartass anyway, so I raised my hand and asked, "What about Gamma girls?" Yep, that's not bad, actually. Chances are that everyone just thought you were joking, and it's not a terrible joke for that age period. 7th grade, 5th period pay, volleyball day. Having failed my team in getting the ball over the net even once because of my lack of athletic ability, I figured I'd help out by running and retrieving it when it went into the grassy area behind the court. I reach the ball safely and turn around to walk, not run, back to my team. Out of nowhere, a pile of dirt appeared beneath me, swiftly knocking me to the ground. In my terror, I lift my hands up to block my fall. I land with an undramatic thud. My team laughs. My PE teacher asks if I'm okay, and I realize I can't move my arm. I get escorted to the office, where the nurse finally releases me to my dad after much interrogation and disbelief that I could break my arm falling on grass from a walk. Urgent care informs me that I have broken my arm in 2 places. I get a cast for the entire summer, and my 2 ex-best friends spread a rumor that I faked the whole thing for attention, including that my cast was fake too. Had multiple classmates inspect it for hinges. Middle school girls are mean. TLTR. Broke my arm tripping over a pile of dirt. 7th grade algebra class, and my teacher said something regarding $1,000. And I recently watched a couple Yo Mama episodes on MTV, and they would give out $1,000 to the winner. Well, right after the teacher said that, there was a spot where I could try and make kids laugh, and I said, $1,000 cash manahe. Complete terrifying silence filled the room with nothing but hatred, and then cool black kid that sat next to me just says, "Wow, that was stupid," which made it even worse. I know some of the kids that were in my class read it, so you come, let's better not say anything. During warm-up for PE, one year, we were all jogging, and during the last 100 yards or so, I turned my head back to the right and spit over my shoulder. Little did I know that the most popular girl in the school was right there behind me, and the spit flew directly into her mouth. She fell to the ground as if someone had tagged her from long distance with a sniper bullet. I immediately felt so bad and envisioned the rest of my school days being heck. Luckily, however, she forgave me, and we ended up dating our senior year of high school. It's cause you asserted your dominance like the llama. My teacher was sort of eccentric, and he went through a phase of making us feel awkward by slowly getting closer to us while lecturing or just not talking. Anyway, he once said something along the lines of what would be something awkward to say. Well, I said I have cancer, and it was awkward. It was. Everyone stopped talking and collectively looked at me. My teacher shook his head slightly and said, "That wasn't funny. It was awful." I don't know why I thought it would be a good idea to say that. Granted, he did ask for awkward. I gave him awkward. Teacher should have slow clapped. If I was a teacher, I'd totally have my students back and save them from bad situations. I farted in the face of one of the most popular girls in school. My middle school had only a really crappy cafeteria buffet line, or a cafe that sold mostly junk food. One day, I opted for a piece of Pizza Hut pepperoni from the cafe for lunch, rather than skipping lunch, which was a general and encouraged habit of most girls at that age. Unfortunately, lunch was right before pay. I'd missed the pay test for whatever reason, and was scheduled that day to do a makeup with the other kids who'd missed. Turned out to be just me and the fourth most popular girl in school. All the popular girls were really small, athletic, and named things ending with a Y. And I was really tall and lanky and awkward. So we're doing our test together, the mile run. She beats me by like 2 minutes, but I run a personal best of 8:40. The pull-up bar, where our pervy gym teacher would hold all us girls by the hips and assist us. Then came the sit-ups. I might not run a fast mile, or have lots of upper body strength, but I've always had strong abs and knew I could totally beat her in this. I held her feet as she went, 49 sit-ups in 1 minute. I totally got this. A feeling starts to erupt inside of me from the pizza I'd just eaten, and as I get down on the mat I know what's going to happen, but I am committed at this point to beating this girl at something. So I do 64 sit-ups in 1 minute, her holding my feet and me farting a little in her face on each one. 64 farts in the face of the fourth most popular girl in school, in a minute's time. To this day, I still don't know whether to cringe or be proud. TL. DR. Farted in popular girl's face 64x. Edit 3. Difference between a push-up and a sit-up. Sorry, wrote this originally in haste on my phone. I would say 64 farts in 1 minute is quite an accomplishment. I had a huge crush on this popular guy who I had once been friends with. We rode the bus together and it was often quite full. So one day he asked to sit next to me, no other seats open, and of course I dreamily said yes. Now presented with this opportunity, I decided to really try and impress him. I pull the poncho I had been knitting out of my backpack, begin to knit, and inform him that I can knit with my eyes closed. Honestly, I'm just thankful I never had to see his reaction to that, as it probably would have totally killed the complete sense of nailed it that I had after I got off the bus. We rode the bush together and it was often quite full. That just happened. In my IT class, one of the girls in the group asked what's a printer. To this day I still see her as a complete freaking idiot. A classmate of mine asked if Christopher Columbus was still alive in 8th grade. She still doesn't know. She graduated. I was on the basketball team. Only a couple minutes left in the game and the other team took a shot and missed. Me being roughly 6'2" at the time got the rebound, and without thinking, because I was so excited to have the ball for once, immediately took a shot and made it. The second the ball left my hands my heart sank. They won the game because of it, and 15 years later I still get crap for it once in a while. Middle school is heck. Seriously, high schoolers aren't great, but at least they're sapient beings. Grade schoolers are cute and the psychological damage they cause to each other can be repaired. But freaking middle school, you walk in as a 6th grader and you're still essentially a baby, and you're swamped by these 8th graders on the trembling cusp of puberty. Everything stinks like hormones, and there's a welcome to school dance to let everyone get to know each other. As though the administration doesn't know this will create an environment of hostility and rejection that will have ripple effects so far into the future their victims haven't been born yet. Somehow, you're already behind. Everyone else is more sure of themselves, more comfortable than you. You can feel it radiating off of them. You find friends that you've had since kindergarten, but they don't want to talk to you. You've worn the wrong backpack or some dumb crap and now you might as well be constantly pooping. And then there's gym class. This is all if you're lucky. I wasn't. Somehow, you're already behind. Everyone else is more sure of themselves, more comfortable than you. You can feel it radiating off of them. This pretty much escalated until the end of high school when I discovered how to finally develop a personality I liked. Much time was wasted trying to be like someone else or just copy things that work for others. I told the girl I was dating in 7th grade that we were gonna make out officially on a certain day, after only doing pecs. We were at a movie. I couldn't make my move during the movie, for whatever reason. The credits roll. My mouth is dry, so I chug my Pepsi to prepare myself. As we are saying our goodbyes, I say, but this time, I one hung and Makia it with her. To her surprise, she said my mouth tasted like soap. This proves it. Coke is better than Pepsi. It was 6th grade. There was a gopher on the field during recess. Everyone started to gather around it. Some jackass kids were trying to kick it, so I blocked them and was trying to protect it. I was pushed hard enough to step on it. Everyone started laughing and I ran to the restroom, hid in a stall, and cried all day until school was over. One of the worst days of my life. R.I.P. Gopher. Just recently at the middle school in my town some kid stomped on a bunch of bunnies. Apparently it was at first an accident but then he started putting them out of their misery. That's when crap got real messed. My entire middle school experience was one cringe of copying popular behaviors so that I could attempt to fit in. I thought that copying catchphrases and mannerisms of the popular kids was the ticket to changing myself. While that strategy had some success, I cringe about my desperation for social acceptance. In 7th grade, I discovered that I was allergic to poison ivy after I broke out in terrible open pus dripping rashes on both of my legs. I had to come to school every day for a month with bandages around my legs and change them out several times a day. Somehow, the rash traveled to my face, distorting and sagging my right cheek, making me look like a true pizza face. The rash progressively worsened, with the apex of it landing on picture day. I still cringe for the poor photographer that had to look me in the eye and go on taking my frightful picture. 8th grade lunchroom. A frozen chicken nugget flew across the room and smacked me in the temple. Also, safety pin necklaces. I did wear my safety pin necklace with a puka shell necklace and also those silly sweat armbands with designs on them. And my parents let me out of the house. I yelled death from above as I was throwing a popcorn shrimp across the cafeteria. It ended up passing a cute girl's face and I found out that it sliced her retina. I cut her eye with a breaded shrimp. The retina is on the inside of the back of your eye. I think you meant cornea. I went to school wearing only my winter jacket. I forgot to put on a shirt when I was getting dressed and didn't realize my mistake until I got off the bus. My mom had to bring me a shirt from home. Middle school was not a very great time for me. I started going through puberty in the 6th grade, before everyone else did. I was taller than everyone in my grade, I had a face full of pimples, and I was a giant nerd. Well, one day I was walking to class with my rolling backpack and this kid ended up yelling at me, "Hey look, IT's the weird girl." I was socially retarded, so I yelled back, I hope you go to heck." That's right, I said IT. Heck. I cringe at the thought. In 8th grade when the girl and boys track team were combined, we saw a whole bunch of little clear baggies on the field. We didn't know what they were, and my guy friend had to spit out his gum. So he put it up to his mouth and spit out his gum in it. I realized years later that those were used condoms. On a more sad and serious note, I have a story that haunts me every night. My friend found out who I had a crush on and did that immature "hey she has a crush on you" move to him. She was a bee on and off. Now I know she was bipolar. I got really mad at her because she treated me like real crap sometimes. Now it was a friend war, and to get even, my other friend made a really mean tease about her. Apparently she wore diapers at night, so my friend yelled, "Which do you use? Huggies? You make a swish swish sound when you walk." Bah. She died a bit on the inside. That was a little much. After that she hated me for age, even though I didn't say it, and even in high school, she would make really dark paintings for the art show and I'd compliment her, but she'd give me a dirty look. A year after graduation she killed herself, and I never got to apologize. The day that she died makes me feel terrible. I wonder where she is and how she's doing, if there's an afterlife. Only she knows. TLDR. Friend committed suicide, and maybe because of something mean my friend said, it could have contributed to it, and I never got to say I was sorry. It's been haunting me since it happened, and when she killed herself it haunts me more. Friend committed suicide because of something mean my friend said. I don't think that was the real reason she committed suicide. There were definitely some underlying issues, though what you said may have been hurtful to her. I doubt it was that important. In 8th grade, I had to poop at school and somehow when wiping I managed to get poop on my thumb. Without realizing, and when I pulled my pants up it streaked all up my thigh. I panicked. I tried to wipe it off with toilet paper, but since it was dry, it only smeared it around. More panic. I began spitting on my leg and finally it all scrubbed off. Then I realized that crap had also gotten on my panties. I took them off and attempted to flush them down the toilet. This failed. I hurriedly left and then realized I probably still stank like crap. So I went to my gym locker and got my deodorant and smeared it on my leg. I finally returned to class. One of my friends saw I was distressed and tried to talk to me about it, but I told her I wasn't telling a soul. That night she called me and talked me into telling her. The next day she told people, who told others. It spread like wildfire. They started calling me poopy. Senior year of high school, the valedictorian even mentioned it in her speech. Row, till there is a heck on earth. It still grosses me out today that a girl gave another kid a blowjob. That's a 12-year-old sucking another 12-year-old's dong. In 6th grade I was obsessed with Teen Titans and I would sit cross-legged in my chair in art class or in the girls' locker rooms and gym and chant Azareth-Metrian Xynthus. Picture their faces if one random time it actually worked and you just shot a blast of whatever the heck Raven's powers are. Or crap. This bee is serious. Run. Oh man, one time a group of kids dared me to eat a whole nacho tray filled with jalapenos and then drink 16 half pints of chocolate milk. I did it in about 20 minutes. For one day I became the popular kid. The principal was watching the whole thing and laughing his butt off. I crap milk and burning for days. Well, that's bull crap. You expect us to believe you drank 8 pints of milk in 20 minutes. During one of those stupid middle school dance things where everyone awkwardly stands around a room filled with disco crap, because the teachers hadn't let go of that era yet, one of my friends went up to ask a girl to dance. Now my friends and I were nerdy geeky kids, and so was this girl he went to ask. He went up to her and she threw her punch or whatever it was in his face. It felt awful to see, and he started crying. Turns out she did it to gain favor with the cool girls. Girls at that age are miniature Hitlers. We were discussing To Kill a Mockingbird and my teacher wanted us to act it out so we could grasp the story better. When it came to choosing Mayella Ewell, the girl I had a crush on volunteered for the part. Now, I am a very introverted person, and I never blurt out in class, but because I like this girl, I thought I could make her laugh and notice me if I did something. Haha, you got violated. Stone cold silence. Not a single word from anyone. They all just stared at me. Flippin', see me outside. Then I had to privately apologize to my crush and then to the entire class. Ha! Rubbed mayonnaise on the staircase railing so people would wipe their hands on it and watched. And waited. Eventually some black girls walked down the stairs when one yelled, "Oh lotion," and they all proceeded to rub it on their arms. It was awesome. No regrets. I didn't know many inappropriate words when I was in middle school but desperately wanted to be edgy and cool with my friends. One day they're giving me a hard time and I decide to say, "Geez guys, you're treating me like I have a circumcised dong." They just stared. Their stares are burned into me head to this day. I tried to turn Super Saiyan in a fight once. I legitimately started screaming in a Super Saiyan pose. Boy was it embarrassing. I didn't even turn Super Saiyan. Just got my butt kicked by a fat kid. I began crying because I was the only one who wrote the wrong answer on a question in a test. The question was, how many 50-öringar are there in 1 krona? Old Swedish currency. The answer is 2. It's like how many 50 cents are there in 1 euro? I played football in middle school, and I wasn't really the cool kid. Got picked on a lot. No big deal. But one day, I was offered some hair gel from one of the guys. I took it and fixed my hair. Everyone started laughing, and I had no idea why. Turns out one of them peed in the gel bottle and mixed it up. The nickname Pisshead came up a lot over the next few years, and it was mentioned in my senior yearbook. Frick those guys. Everything. All of it. The whole thing. Start to aching finish. It was all horrible and I prefer not to think about it. We were in 7th grade sitting at lunch, when all of a sudden the lunchroom goes dead silent as the one kid is literally standing in the middle of the lunchroom pee his pants, picking his nose and just smiling. To this day I have no idea why, but it kind of scarred me. I created this fictional character called Bob, and then made everyone call me that. I even had one of those crappy personal websites from Comcast where I wrote about the Bob Club and it had all these stupid rules. My English teacher had a conference with my mom because she was concerned that I was delusional, but really, I was just a stupid 6th grader. Basically, I was in the bathroom with a bunch of kids, and they were at the urinal peeing, and suddenly did the no hands thing. I wanted to be cool, so I did it too. You know when you let go of a fire hose? Well, that happened, and I peed on my shirt. A lot. So I completely drenched the bottom half of my shirt in water in the sink and dried it out as much as I could, and went back to class with a half-wet wrinkly t-shirt. I still don't remember if the kids told anybody, but I completely blocked it out until a few months ago, and I really don't know what came of it. Middle school in general is kind of a blur. Also remember AOL Instant Messenger away messages and how you could make someone click a link and it would make them go away with the message you wrote. Well, I think this was when I was 12. I made one that said I'm gay or something, oh, and I debauched someone. I don't know why I thought it was a good idea, but I sent it to a friend. His mom was on his AIM and she clicked it. I couldn't talk to that woman for months and got in loads of trouble with my parents. Please don't make me remember any more of these. I swear I'm different and normal now. At least, normal in the sense that I don't pee on myself in public places. Well, just remembered this one. One time I went to my friend's house with sunglasses and a backwards hat on, and I think he asked why I was wearing that, and I said something along the lines of, "Oh, I'm trying a new style. I'm very white in the suburbs and I was pretty chubby back then. Someone kill me. I don't want to live with these memories." A girl dating a guy, then dating one of his friends while one of her friends dates the guy she broke up with. Then the original girl moves on to one of his other friends, and her friend takes the last boyfriend. I hate that dating circle crap that went on during middle school and into high school. 8th grade at the beginning of the school year. We're in Spanish class about to learn how to salsa dance. I ask my good friend in front of the entire class if he'll be my dance partner. As a joke, he just stares at me, and so does everyone else. His girlfriend just says, what the teacher also adds on and says, "That was a pretty awkward question." I almost died of embarrassment. I had just moved from a new state and was going to start the year like this. Ended up getting a hot girl as my dance partner, so I ain't even mad. You just made me realize no one had a sense of humor in middle school. There was a kid in our class that always wore sweatpants. He masturbated during class all the time and everyone knew it, even the teachers, but they just ignored it. One time he was at full mass and went to talk to the teacher at her desk. Thought the thing was going to poke her eye out. She made him go to the principal's office and he was banned from ever wearing sweatpants again. I guess I didn't cringe, but it did make me laugh again, lol. Full mast. Alright, I get it, you buttholes like full mass more. Dancing in gym class. Boys were supposed to go pick the girls. My lanky, brace face didn't get picked, so I got paired up with a star football player. No word of a lie. Danced for 10 seconds, and he walked away, leaving me to waltz on my own. The gym teacher did nothing and my young awkward teenage self-esteem was stomped on. I wore the frick out of a fuzzy, neon orange, sleeveless top. I don't know why, but I thought that it was the coolest thing ever. Probably when my teacher inquired what the red dot circles on my face were. Thanks for the 20 sets of eyeballs judging me because I had acne. Our health teacher always stopped teaching about 5-10 minutes early and let us spend the rest of the class doing whatever. I and 2 of my friends would sit there and headbang every day at the end of that class, to no music. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.